Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Psychology and Spirituality, a Bridge to a Better Life discussion. Our weekly talks are based on the works by Joanna de Angelis, and just for all of us to understand, this is our safe space, a space that we created so that we can confront, compare, correlate, and expand spirituality concepts from a psychological lens and bring in insights, actionable tips, real world advice to help all of us lead a better life. I'm your host, Marcia Trajano, and here with me are Dr. Anahy Fonseca and Jussara Korngold. And together, representing different geographies, but together in spirit, we are here very excited to continue a discussion on life energies. And just so you know, this program, Psychology and Spirituality, is brought to you by AMI Brazil, United States Spiritist Federation, the TV Mansão do Caminho, and the International Spiritist Council. I ask you to please subscribe when you're looking at our broadcast, and if you haven't already done so. But if you want to check more, please come to www.spiritist.us for additional information. Today's topic is very interesting to me, especially. So I highly recommend you go to the book by Joanna de Angelis in collaboration with Divaldo Pereira Franco called Life, Challenges, and Solutions. Thank you. Thank you so much for being here with us. Thank you for joining us. And let's go ahead and get started. Anahy, do you want to take it over, the conversation?
Okay, thank you, Marcia. Hello, everyone. Hello, Jussara. So last time we were talking, I think we stopped when we were talking about video games, right? And about the different levels, because Joanna is talking in this chapter that we are studying about mental habits, and she was saying that we should go little by little, allowing ourselves to be led, by trying to go to other levels. So not be led by primitive habitual manifestations. And we made this comparison with video games, that it's like she's talking about, like to get stuck in a level, repeating the same instinctively, repeating the same mistakes, so the same mental habits, and the same moves, we could say, and without being able to go to the next level. So to be able to go to the next level here in our metaphor would be to get the moral abilities, moral capability to go further and not repeat the same mental habits of pessimism, suffering, and things like that. And so we need for that moral achievements to go to the next phase. I think we were, I don't know if Jussara wants to comment something.
Yeah. I was just thinking, Anna, that it's so interesting when we make this analogy with the video games, because I always thought, when my son was young and I bought him some video games, that was the best way that I had to teach him the immortality of the being. And at the same time, even reincarnation, because like you said, we go to one phase, and then in many parts of the game, you just are able to reach a certain phase, and then you die in the game, right? You fail, but you have another chance to start all over again. Sometimes we get stuck in the same level for too long, but with experience and repetition and renovation, we are able to stop doing this, taking the same path, like you were saying here. Sometimes even when we know, I mean, I tried this before and it didn't work. We don't see a way out. But even
Mhm.
when this happened, you have another chance and you start again. And I think very much when we are talking about the being, the survival of the being, the survival of the spirit, is very much about that, right? I mean, like we said before, we have the software and we are using, an instrument to be able to manifest. But it's I mean, I think it's already imprinted in the mind of our youth. This idea is in this subliminal area already, that I survive, I can start over. I have a new chance, a new opportunity, and at a new chance I may evolve.
Yes, well, very well put. And when we talked at some point about the archetypes, I don't want to give everybody spoilers, but I totally agree with you, Jussara. There are many things, patterns that we don't realize consciously, but they are imprinted in deep in the psyche. So this idea that we always get another chance, and that consciousness is evolving, and we are going to go to the next level at some point in space and time, because it's out of our regular time here, but in a spiritual time, let's say, right, in moment, we are going to go to the next level. And we can do that without so much suffering. It all depends on the mental habits that we are creating, right? And to realize them. So coming back again to to Joanna's thoughts, she says that since thought is the guideline for conduct, thinking correctly must be the great challenge for anyone who aspires to triumph. So if we think of this analogy, and also when I was reading that, I remember it reminded me about the Buddhism knowledge, that we have to the octuple path, I think, that we have to think correctly, speak correctly, see correctly, act correctly, everything. So I think this is pretty much what Joanna is saying, that if we aspire to triumph, we have to think correctly, because thought is the guideline for conduct. But what does that mean, to think correctly? So I wanted to see what Joanna is talking about that. She says it is up to the individual to insist and persevere, opening new space in the addicted mental field, planting new seeds of optimism and hope in order to get out of the sick state. And now, as everybody that is listening to us at this point already know, that I love some movies. And of course, when I read this, I don't know, I'm just going to make some kind of joke with you guys. Do you know the sentence, never give up, never surrender? Marcia, Jussara?
Oh.
I don't remember.
Aha, I got you. So this is from the movie Galaxy Quest.
Oh, I haven't watched it, but I will.
Yeah,
Galaxy,
it's
Galaxy
a
Quest.
Galaxy Quest is a lot of fun, and because you know that I love Star Trek, as I told you last episode, and especially in the Next Generation. And this makes this movie Galaxy Quest it's wonderful. It makes kind of jokes with the movie, next with Star Trek. And there's this sentence that it's like a motto: never give up, never surrender. So when I was reading this sentence, it's exactly like this, Joanna is saying, because we are going to the next level. It's
Yes.
evolution.
Yep.
It's like Marcia said last episode. Um, it's we are going. It's imprinted in our program spiritually, talking, and also biologically talking. So never give up, never surrender. We are going to the next stage. Okay. So Joanna says that it is essential to start valuing everything around you, establishing new standards of understanding, as we are trying to do here, right, in this program. Thus, freeing yourself from negative, pessimistic constructions. See how important she's giving us a way out
Yes.
of this, the negative mental habits, that pessimism, suffering, and at some point we are, and even it's not that people consciously want to harm us. For instance, maybe people want to inform us, people believe in what they are saying, but to us, for instance, we were talking also about the media
Mm-hmm.
last episode. So sometimes it's not on purpose, as we say, but if we, are in a sense like with too much stimuli from the environment, and negative, that I don't know, only each one of us can really make a distinction: what is negative to me and what is positive, what is bringing me health, spiritually speaking, mentally speaking, what is making me healthier and what it's not helping. It's up to each one of us to decide. Nobody can decide in our place. So these kind of things. And just remember that a sentence by Jung that I probably already have said this here, but it's always nice to, when we are talking about this, to remember when he says that the heart has a memory, a much better memory of what is good for the soul than the mind, because it's what we feel in our hearts. And nobody can know that because it's our hearts. It's our connection with what brings us peace. And we are, in a very deep level, we are very similar, all of us. Okay. But in the surface, in our personality, in our ego, we have different experiences, we have different psychological types, we have different dynamics, psychic dynamics. So we cannot discern for other people what's good or not. It's our own responsibility to make this kind of observation, analysis of ourselves, and especially connecting to what we feel in our hearts, that is giving me peace and that is giving me hope and taking me out of this mental habits, pessimism and suffering. So remember what Joanna says: freeing. So it's essential, I would just repeat because I think it's very
Mm-hmm.
important. It is essential to start valuing everything around you, establishing new standards of understanding, thus freeing yourself from negative pessimistic constructions. And she goes on saying that the new habit will slowly implant itself in the subconscious until it becomes an integral part of the behavior.
And I think this is important for us to know, right? And I sorry for the interruption because
Yes.
it's I don't know if we start to think in terms of a chain, right? Each chain has a link, and we cannot like using again the metaphor of the video games. We as we go to the next level, we bring with us all the knowledge, we bring with us all the atavisms, all of the mental habits, if you will, pessimistic or not. But when we start to see it, we have a key, we have a way out. And the way out, as she says, is to begin that new direction on how you want to live, how you want to be healthy, but always know that all that we bring slowly will be modified because the new habit will be instilled in the subconscious, not in the conscious only. So I love that. I love to hear that we have the way out. I don't know if you want to talk more about it, Anahy.
It's just now that you were talking, um, it came to my mind that, for instance, in marketing, you say,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
okay, when you want to sell something, that it's all around, I mean, it's okay, it's the way that people exchange and in terms of the economy, but we cannot be so naive as to think that everything is for our own good. So many times, people that want to sell their ideas, their products, or whatever, um, the people that want to do that, they will study, of course, you have to study to understand people.
Mm-hmm.
But when it's not, for real the good of humankind or human beings, we have to pay attention. That's why I said we have to reason, but we have to feel in our hearts.
Mm-hmm.
So mental habits also can get ingrained through the environment or through other people in our subconscious mind. And I'm telling you this as a psychiatrist,
Uh-huh.
because there are a lot of people that study psychology just to know how to reach to this subconscious mind of people and to put some ideas there. So Joanna talks a lot about, and we are going to be talking about that, about not only that we are in a society that is very worried what people
Mm-hmm.
are very worried what they have,
Mm-hmm.
and not so worried of what they are. So
Yes.
when I am worried of, about what I am, okay, I will need to have some things. I will need to have food for my body, to have things that I can study and develop emotionally and intellectually.
Mm-hmm.
I will have to have clothes and things like that. But I can never forget that this is okay. I'm taking care of my body, that is the vehicle which
Yes.
my psyche is, my soul is expressing itself, as we were talking last episode. But the more important thing is what I am, because
Yes.
it's the moral achievements, is the everything that I learned, the intellectual part, my development, my emotions and everything that makes what I am, that I'll be taking with me to the next phase, to use the video game, my capabilities, my new capabilities. Does it make sense to you guys?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Should I go on?
Yes. Why don't we?
Okay. So Joanna says that a good or bad thinking is a matter of habit. Good or bad thinking is a matter of habit. Of course, you could say, oh, Joanna is very behaviorist, you know, but she goes little by little. When she's talking about habits, she's not excluding, and we are going to see later on
Mhm.
emotions, feelings. She's just saying that the spirit thinks, right? And I
Yes.
would ask Jussara and you, Marcia, to maybe to comment here about Allan Kardec's question to the spirits in the spirit book. When he asks, "What is the spirit?" Could you talk a little bit about that?
Yes, yes. We there are actually two questions in the Spirits book that talks about the Spirits book codified by Allan Kardec in 1857. For those who are not familiar with this publication, a book of questions and answers, the questions being proposed by Professor Hippolyte Leon Denis Arrivaio, who assumed the pen name Allan Kardec, and the answers provided by spirits through mediums. And those answers, actually, the questions were submitted to different places, different mediums, and Kardec would collect all of them and put all and studying and analyzing, the content, and would then after that put it in the spirits book, only those that have been replied in the same manner by different places, different mediums, etc., which are called the universal teachings of the spirits. And then those two questions 23 and 76 of the spirits book, it talks exactly about the spirit. So explaining that the spirit is the intelligent being of the universe. So from the moment we think about this intelligent being, it's not necessarily intellect that we are talking here, but the ability of learning, of absorbing, of having this possibility of acting in the world, of having our free will, establishing our choices, the path, but with the counterpoint that whatever we choose, whatever way I choose to go, and this is very much what Joanna de Angelis is saying here. I may choose to go through righteousness, or I may choose to go through a bad path, and there will be consequences. But then again, it's me as the intelligent being of the universe that is going to be doing this choice. Again, good and bad news. News is you can do it. It's absolutely up to you. And the bad news, it's your responsibility. You have to own your actions, and so I think this is the beauty that we have, and that Joanna de Angelis comes and brings so much in all her work of the psychological series, because it's completely in tune with what we have in terms of the objectives of spiritism, of spirituality.
Yes, thank you so much, Jussara. I don't know if Marcia wants to comment.
No, I just want to say that when we talk about the the longevity by which our eternal, right? Not eternal, but immortal spirit or immortal soul in its journey, that time that seems to be never attainable, it is attainable, she tells us. But because of the freedom that we have, to which you, Jussara, mentioned, that freedom to choose, I always have this analogy, so I'm going to bring to you guys here, which is the analogy of a tapestry, right? It's little by little, I have the choice of the colors, the types of the threads or yarn, but most important, the design by which I'm going to be doing this pattern that is called my life. And with that, not only it's mine, it's my design, no matter how good or bad it is, there's that sense of ownership, of merit, but also on the other hand, we also are responsible for whatever it is. It cannot be Jussara's design or Anahy's design. This is Marcia. And so we demonstrate what we are until we're not. We're moving on. So I just love it. I love that sense of the concept of our freedom, our free will.
That's great. Yes, and to join both of your comments, just to thinking about what you said, that we could say, and everything that we are reading and studying with Joanna, that I love tapestry, by the way. I love it. And it's a beautiful metaphor because, yes, the colors, the threads, so it's our choice. Uh, but the idea, the mechanism, the way of doing, if we can make this analogy with what we were talking about
Mhm.
last episode and this, it's imprinted. It's something. Okay, then people say, well, but I have to have classes to do, to know how to make the tapestry stuff. But yes, you have to learn with someone. But once you get the basic idea, it's what Marcia is saying. It's everything there. You're going to put your images, you are going to create. But the idea of creating something, an image with a technique that we all can learn, it's something ancient, and it's within us. So and also it all depends in the way that I'm going to look at your art piece, your tapestry. It all depends also what you express and what I connect to what you express. So I think it's a beautiful image. I think we were talking about this, and I don't know if it was before or during, that we need each other to learn together. We are going to be talking a lot about that, but to go to the next phase, right? We need each other. That's why we come together. And we are never alone. Even if I live a more lonely life, for instance, one of my lives, I will have to connect with other people, and I will have to have the experience of not being with so many people or feeling lonely. But this is also by itself an experience that is taught me, teaching me something, that has taught something and teach me something. Do you want to say something, Giselle?
No,
Yeah, I
oh,
think
yeah.
what you're saying, it brought the tapestry example because supposing that we are all different colors,
Mhm.
right? If I try to make a design or to to produce this tapestry just with my plain color, it is going to be just that plain color, not really um, form a whole. And if we are different colors and we all combine it together, then it's what you're saying, how much more beautiful and complete we all are, with the combination of all the talents, all the different experiences, and putting this tapestry of us immortal beings all together.
Love it. This is awesome. Thank you.
Yes, thank you. So Joanna says that every time an unhealthy, perverse, malicious, unjust thought occurs,
Mhm.
we should immediately replace it with a dignified, healthy, loving, trusting, fair one, sustaining it with the wave of irradiation of the desire that it be fulfilled. I think it's beautiful to think, since thoughts are energy, and we already know that, and generate energy and create our reality to a certain point. So we all going to have at some point mental habits, right? We are going to have ancestral atavisms and things like that. But if we do like we are trying to do here together today, if we analyze, if we pay attention, if we bring to consciousness, oh, here I'm having a mental habit, then what Joanna is suggesting is that we identify, okay, it's unhealthy, it's perverse. How am I going to know that? Well, my heart will know because I will feel bad. Nobody that is expressing or is suffering, let's say, from a mental habit, right? Will say, I'm so happy. No, I know that, I can tell you. They will feel depressed, anxious, or something like that. So it's very important that we analyze, take some time to analyze ourselves, to really pay attention, to try to discern which thought is, giving me this emotions, disturbing sensations, let's say, better than emotions, but sensations of, I feel depressed, I feel this or that. Because then we can do, as Joanna is suggesting, to replace the thought with a healthier one, with a loving one, with a trusting one. For instance, I'll give you an example. And I don't know if Jussara and Marcia, it happens to you guys, but usually, and we are going to be talking about that when we, when we talk more of the dynamics of the psyche, okay?
Mm-hmm.
But usually, when we do something really that wow, I'm so satisfied with myself or so happy with myself because I did something so good, I'm feeling great. I don't know if usually, but it's very common. Okay, I did something like this, and I was so consciously in peace. Okay, I did a nice job. I'm okay with that. Then I thought, wow, I'm going to sleep really nice this night. I had an awful night, awful. I would wake up every 1 hour and disturbing thoughts and things like that. And you would say, how come? It was so great. And I'm talking here especially about a spiritual
Yeah.
job that I was doing. I was, job, we don't say job, but I mean task, okay?
Mm-hmm.
Then how come I slept so, yeah, and I always sleep okay. So how come I slept so bad waking up every 1 hour? Of course, it's always nice or easier to think with all the, the understanding and the study that we have to think of when there, even when there is a person, another person, a friend, but when the thing is happening to yourself, to oneself, then, oh, that's not so easy. But I kept in my mind what happened that night, what was going on. Then I had to remind myself of Jungian concepts that I know a lot
Mm-hmm.
about the shadow thing that we are going to talk about, but we can translate at this point to a bad mental habit that it's imprinted. Oh, I did a nice thing and this and that. And then sometimes when you sleep, you are okay in your unconscious mind. You are more in contact with your unconscious mind. And maybe something happens there, the opposite of what you are living in consciousness, that, felt not that great. So how will anyone know about that? We can know observing ourselves deeply. And then I got to a conclusion about, because of course we have to know ourselves deeply to try to help others. So I understand, as of course at this point, some of my own dynamics, and then I understood why I slept badly. But the real thing, the real way out that I hadn't thought about with all, the years of studying this kind of thing, was one of my older sisters. She's a teacher, and she's also in a spiritual search and learning a lot of stuff. And then I was talking to her about this, and she said, "Well, you know what I do when I have this kind of problem at night? Okay, I'm awake anyways. Then I start, okay, I will think of everything that I have good in my life and give thanks for it. It's the energy of gratitude." Okay. And so, how didn't I think about that? It would have spared me a bad night's sleep. You know, it's so simple, but sometimes we have difficulty that this kind of knowledge should come to our conscious mind. So that's why we need all of each other. Doesn't matter how much we study, doesn't matter this or that. We are all in the same search.
And I
Does it
wanted
make
to, yes, and I love it. I love because you jumped way ahead as we're, I think the life challenges and solutions is the sixth book, fifth book. And Anahy went to the last book just published, which is The Psychology of Gratitude. So I want to just let everybody know that it's amazing that sense of for all of us to not only be positive, right? And whenever I think about the book, I go into this point counterpoint, right? The point is the awareness, right? The reflection upon what is good, what is positive, what what are my goals, what are the objectives, material and also spiritual. What is it that I'm accomplishing? This is really cool, and it will give us the peace. And it goes right into what we're talking today in the mental habit. It's a way to break that, oh, poor me, or whatever. But one of the things that I wanted to bring here, and I believe she discusses in this chapter as well, is the very important, right? Is what real gratitude is. And gratitude is not, I'm grateful if and only if I get, right? I'm I thank you, Jussara, because you've done this to me, and Jussara is grateful for me, or for you, Anahy, because in turn you gave something to her. Gratitude is a feeling, right? It's a sense of being grateful. So I just want to know, maybe you want to speak more about it, but I love what your sister told you about this.
Yeah, I just ask one thing as well, and in what you were saying, this experience of doing something good and then um, going to sleep and having this, uh, bad thoughts and everything. Could that, and since you mentioned about the shadow, etc., could that be a self sabotage as well? That somehow we feel this kind of contentment with what we just did, but in a way, something here is trying, from deep inside is trying to tell me, but you're not that good, or everything surfaces, but in a negative way, just to resist. Like we have an inner resistance to move forward. And then this, I don't know. I think you can explain this better.
No, it's great, because that's why I was telling, we have to know ourselves deeply, as deep as we can, because everybody has his, her own dynamics and shadows and unconscious stuff. I mean, right?
Mhm.
So it could be self sabotage, yes, in a personal unconscious thing. Okay, it could be something deeper, because as we talked in some previous program, everybody has his, her personal myth that govern, the life of this soul that comes here, and the things that this personality has to experience and has and decided to learn, to experience, to have this kind of experience to learn. So as Marcia was saying, we have free will to a certain extent, because it depends of our level of consciousness, right? But we have free will in the way that we are going, not only in our planning of this life, depending of how evolved our soul is, of course, with mentors and stuff, but also when we are here and with the achievements of last phase, talking about the video games again, that we already have, even if we forgot who I was in that previous life. But
Mhm.
I have with me the moral achievements and the spirit and the intellectual, and I have in my memory, spiritually speaking. And then I will, of course, have my free will to decide how am I going, what I'm going to choose in certain situations, that how am I going to deal with them. So it could be just that it's very well, and many times, even being here talking with you, it took me some many many months to think if I was okay up to the task. So it all depends to us, it doesn't matter how much education we have, how much this or that, but it is within us, our own dynamics. So to go further a little in this discussion, what Joanna says, so we can end this part, that what we think becomes reality.
Yes.
At I would say, at a certain point in our lives, even spiritually think, it doesn't speaking doesn't mean that if I think this, because we are not children, okay? Children
Mhm.
have what we say concrete thinking until seven, more or less 7 years old. Abstract thinking will come later on, like 7, 8, and on. But previous to that, the children have concrete thinking, which means if they want to go play outside and it's raining and they want really, I want to go play outside, and then suddenly it stops raining, they will think that it's because they want it. Okay. Of course, this is concrete. So just to pay attention that when Joanna says what we think becomes reality, it's not the magical thinking of children, but it's the knowledge that we are co-creators of our own reality. So it will become reality in a certain point if this is a mental habit. And like Jussara said, I could be, giving me a hard time, so I would think twice. If I would, I'm just joking, but yeah, it could be something like that. What I'm going to say in the next episode if I'm up to the task and all that. So Joanna says, first think, then act. But think deeply when she says that. Think knowing yourself, thinking in contact with your heart, okay, and then act. And then when I was reading that, it came to my mind one of Jung's sentence. Of course, I would bring him when he says, "Until you make the unconscious conscious, it will direct your life, and you will call it fate." We were talking about free will and said,
Love it. Yeah.
"Oh,
Yeah.
but it's fate, it's destiny." Well, is it really? Because if it's in my unconscious, oh, but I don't have any power, it's in my unconscious. I have a power because it's my unconscious. And I should analyze it, I should meditate, I should go into prayer and to get to know myself, what I really am, not only outside, but within myself. And to go, to this part of the that it's we're getting to the end, I would like to think with you all and to hear Jussara and Marcia about that when Joanna says the superior mental constructions which produce healthy habits are renewed and grow in the being, originating from the spirit that captures them from the divine thoughts. Now she's talking about the spirit, not
Mhm.
only the psyche, but our higher self. That captures them from the divine thought, from where all the forces of edification and total realization derive. Wow,
I,
that's deep.
I love it. I love it. And I propose that this becomes our ending remark since we are at close. But I love that idea that she bring to us, right?
There is one
Uh,
more phrase that I want to her to read. The psychological. Can you do that? And I need the last slide for this presentation.
The last sentence to
No,
repeat.
this one here, the psychologically healthy man, or I can read it. The
Oh, okay, read to us, Jussara.
yes, the psychologically healthy man or woman does not live on memories, nor is she tormented by aspiration, as thought is the source that generates aspirations, yearning for the best and working to acquire it represents elevation and moral development. Not getting upset, however, when this does not happen is a demonstration of maturity and balance.
Perfect.
Yes, yes. And I think this is our talk today, right? It's all about mental habits and how we have the keys. It's with us in our hands. And it's not easy, but it's right here. With practice, we'll get there. So with that, I want to say thank you, Anahy, thank you, Jussara. Loved our time together. And until next time, we will see you. Bye, everyone.
Bye bye.